I did it again. I froze.
I'm like, I'm never freezing again for the freeze frame. I'm not gonna look that stupid.
You've gotten really good at not freezing for freeze frame.
But this is it. Yeah, I don't know where it was.
Here's your other egg.
Welcome to Good Mythical More.
Now you squeezed that thing so hard. I was like, no, you don't. But it is just a regular egg.
I thought it was because it has a seam. It looked like it had a seam
I think that was
where the paint. So
that was the paint.
And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna squeeze this really hard. And then
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Now the John Lennon thing though is a little suspect because he gave the egg to Uri Geller, who Uri Geller is a known con artist. You know, I mean, he did all the telekinesis stuff, but it was
right. So
obviously fake.
Maybe John Lennon isn't. Maybe it's his story, not John Lennon's at all. I got this from John Lennon.
Yeah, you never. Yeah, I don't know the details. Lizzie, do you know how, like, John Lennon definitely said that he got the egg, or was it just that Uri Geller said that he got the egg?
I mean, according to Uri Geller, he got the
right,
egg.
according to Uri Geller. So it's a Uri Geller story.
Yeah, and he said that John Lennon told him, obviously Yoko, and then one other person, and that the other person didn't believe him, but Yoko believed him immediately. But she did not comment on the alien story.
But that's singing, man. That's good stuff, isn't it?
Sing it?
Singing.
The series?
Yoko.
Oh, her singing, yeah. Very good.
Yeah, she's so talented.
Well, Sean Lennon is in a band with Les Claypool from Primus. I'm not
Really?
I'm not lining up for that one.
A lot of bass.
A lot of frenetic bass.
A lot of bass.
And Yoko will show up at the shows.
Of course she will.
And she'll sing.
Yeah, that fits right in with Primus.
Eddie's going. You're a Les Claypool fan.
Oh yeah, Primus is rad.
Yeah.
What was the most popular Primus song?
My Name is Mud.
My Name
the
is
ones
Mud.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Listening assignment. My Name is Mud. Les Claypool. Is he Southern? Because he always has this accent when he sings.
I hope it
Until
is.
Sean starts singing.
I hope it's not an act.
Aliens. Let's talk aliens.
Have you ever had
Mythical
an
beasts.
authentic alien encounter?
Yes, but I don't want to talk about it.
You were sworn to secrecy?
Yeah. Well, they sealed my secret with a probe.
Oh. They sealed this. Oh.
They probed my secret shut.
Okay.
Why they gotta? I mean,
Well, okay.
why they gotta probe so much?
So let's break this down for a second. I am compelled to believe that given the vastness of the universe, that there are other life forms out there. But because these other life forms evolved in their own environment, there is absolutely no guarantee that we assume that they're carbon-based life, right? We assume that they are made up of the same materials that we're made of, the same materials that you find in the stars, as we've established.
That's pretty human-centric.
I think you missed the point of what I'm saying. They're the materials of the universe, the same materials that you find in stars. So,
But to say that they would end up looking similar to us.
that's not what I'm saying. I say they would be carbon-based life forms. But there are reasons to believe because all life that we recognize in the universe right now is carbon-based. But I think they recently made some discoveries that I don't know what other element it is, but there's another element that can bond in the same way that carbon can. But even if it is carbon-based, right? It could be anything at all, and it would probably be beautiful / scary to us. But there's to think that it would have.
But that is what I'm getting at. That like even so, what you were.
That was my point. Was exactly what you were critiquing me. Yeah.
It's carbon centric.
To assume that they look anything like us.
But right, you want two eyes. You want at least two eyes for binocular vision.
Well, you can have multiple ones.
At
you can have
least.
multiple
Right,
eyes.
you
How
can
many
have
eyes
spiders.
do spiders have? How many? Google that.
3, I think.
But here's the other observation: is that because
Why they got to be slimy?
planets are around for so long, billions of years, and you don't know exactly when the life is going to occur on any given planet. And then there is a life cycle of that population, and then that population gets to a certain level of intelligence where they can begin to comprehend themselves and comprehend the universe, and also begin to do things like explore the universe. The chances that that's happening in two different places in proximity where those two civilizations can come in contact with one another. Because I mean, we're pretty advanced. We have no other point of reference other than ourselves, but we're really advanced, right? We're contemplating things. We know that there are other planets out there. We know that there's
But how long would it take for us to advance to the point that we could then
go there?
Go like light speed away?
But that's what that's what SETI's about.
Before the planet dies.
But that's so we don't assume that we can travel in time to actually get there, at least not any time in the current era. But that's what SETI's about. And they recently, SETI had like a really exciting thing, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, all those satellites that are pointed all over the universe. I don't know.
It was a communication, right?
There was a frequency that they intercepted, and now they're kind of tuning everything towards it because they were able to determine that this is not the normal background noise of the universe. This is something that seems like it has the characteristics of an intelligent signal, possibly. But there's these guys who are experts on this thing divide civilizations into a couple of different stages. There's like a level 1 civilization, a level 2 civilization. And there is a point at which they can make a signal with a certain strength. It's complicated stuff that I don't understand, but scientists have determined that based on the characteristics of the signal, you can conclude things about how advanced the population is. And what they've concluded about this signal is that if this is an actual signal, it's far more advanced than our civilization, which is crazy to think about. And I don't know how many light years away it is. But
they say that the signal is so complicated that...
It's not complicated. It's something to do with energy. It's something to do with, they can discern something about the signal, which they can come to a conclusion that particular civilization has harnessed all of the sun's energy of its solar system perfectly, without any energy loss. This is the kind of thing that scientists can figure out using mathematics and physics, but we don't understand it because we're internet comedians.
But they're not, but it could also just be noise.
Yeah, you know what? You should call them and tell them that.
I mean, but they're not saying, they're saying, hey, we're excited, we found something. We're not saying this is somebody who's hyper.
You can't prove it.
More intelligent than we are.
No. Well, what they're saying is if it fits these following characteristics, there's a probability of it being this thing. But anyway, that being said.
You isolate yourself for the majority of days of a day, for multiple days, listening to noise, you're not going to go crazy. You're not going to start.
It's not one guy.
It is. His name is SETI. Yeah, that's a guy's name, right?
But
it's one guy. But SETI Johnson.
To bring it back to the level of the things that we're talking about, let's assume that there is intelligent life and there is someone who has developed technology to not just send signals, but to physically come into our solar system and visit our planet. Yeah. We already know by default that they are far more advanced than we are. And you think about how much our society has advanced in the past 100 years. Fast forward 100 million years or whatever, because the timescales are so vast. I just think that having any sort that we can't comprehend, is it going to be a ship?
Why would they care to come here?
And what would they be coming here for? Because they probably
already nice.
They probably can. If they're that
so
advanced,
much more advanced, why do they care for us unless they want to eat us?
Well, if they're that advanced, they can probably to learn everything they need to know about us without actually visiting us, because their technology would be so advanced that they can just point something at our planet and basically replicate it next to their. You know what I'm saying? They would have to be so advanced that actually visiting us and probing our buttholes would make absolutely no sense.
But it'd be fun.
So if you have an uncle who says his butthole has been probed by an alien, it actually negates itself.
Right.
The whole thing.
That
negates
alien is
itself.
too stupid.
In order to get here, they would have to be so much further advanced. They're not going to be in a flying saucer. They're not going to be in a flying machine at all, and they're not going to be beings that you could recognize. And they're definitely not going to stick something up your butthole.
Let me reinforce.
That's where I was trying to get to
with an analogy. Let's say that you're saving up money to go on an ultra vacation, and you want to go to the other side of the world. You're saving up money. You finally, after years of saving up money, selling cans, you get to you're ready for your trip, and then you go on your trip, and it's amazing. It's the other side of the world. This is crazy. how much of investment of your time and energy and dreams you've put into this.
That's a lot of cans.
You get to the other side of the world. What are you going to do? You're going to probe some person's butthole? Huh? No, you're not.
That's not my point, really.
Well,
but
sure it was.
I understand where you're going with that because
And you're really smart.
I don't know what they're going to do on vacation. They may want to do that. I don't know. So
No
I think
judge-
that's a bad analogy.
Well, then you've just undermined your entire argument.
What I'm saying is that
I was here to help you.
If you have technology advanced enough to traverse the galaxy or the universe to come in contact with
Yeah,
us,
I get
you can attain all you need to know about people without sticking anything in their rectum.
Well, you can
That
do
is a
it,
fact.
you can do it virtually
And you
from a distance.
And
really long invisible probe.
Sammy Hagar is
Wireless
the one
probe.
who is the closest on this one. By the way, you should listening assignment number 2. Listen to Pound Cake. Goodness gracious, that's a good song.
I think what Rhett is saying, and I know I'm right because I've been right this whole conversation, is we're all being probed
right
now by invisible
at
wireless.
all times.
Like just sit still for a minute.
It's not your butthole. It's your entire self. It's the whole planet's butthole is being probed constantly. And everything the aliens want to know is being ascertained.
No pun intended. Don't say it twice.
Right now. You're being probed or you're not being probed. And it makes no difference in your quality of life and no difference in your experience. No one has had an authentic alien encounter that they can then digest and say anything about. Those
I like how you
people
say
are crazy.
Alien counter.
Alien counter, yeah. You put them together, man.
Alien counter.
It to be in the dictionary.
Come over to my house. We've just done some renovations. I have an amazingly exquisite alien counter
You just said
that we eat on.
you just did the same thing with the Squizit. Amazing Squizit.
Amazingly exquisite.
Amazingly exquisite. You said we have an amazingly exquisite alien encounter. That's on a t-shirt.
Can we agree to disagree to agree?
I think put that on a t-shirt. We have an amazingly exquisite alien encounter. Welcome.
That's a tourist attraction, but we should open it.
Yeah.